Lichemax loading plays like he's drawn the plan. Kinetik bringing fire like he's leading the band. No matter the game, no matter the sport, we running this pod like it's fourth and short. Press start, lock in, it's game time again. You tune in live to the Sideline Show with Kinetik and Lichemax. Let's go, the game of Sideline starts now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Gamer Sideline, where the sports meet the sticks and stories get pixel deep. I'm Mike, aka Lichemax626, and this here is
Kinetik615.
What are we talking about today? Recruiting going crazy last week. A lot of big picks for a lot of big teams. Starting out with, I think we got some names from Alabama that came in. Jaira Edwards. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I probably am. Elite 5-star safety. Elite 5-star safety joins them. What do you think? What do you think of that?
I mean, Alabama's been on a roll. They've been getting 5 stars. I think they also got like a 5-star running back here recently, or 4-star running back. That's really good. Off the top of my head, I don't remember, but they've just been on a big time recruiting run. I know, us as Michigan fans, I followed a few recruitments that we beat them out for recently. But it's like after that little run we had against them, they were signing guys left and right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, they got like Edwards, an elite 5-star safety. They got Cabell, elite a potential gem at wide receiver, 3-star. I mean, they got some pretty decent names coming into their coming onto their team for 26. I don't know if that's going to help them going for another playoff run, but I mean, if the past against Michigan is anything to go by, I'm pretty sure, regardless of what they get, they're still going to struggle. They're always going to have the memory of us beating them twice in the same year in the back of their minds when they see us either on the regular schedule or in the playoffs. But yeah, I mean they've been, from what I've heard, they've been doing a pretty good job of recruiting after, like you said, Michigan came through and swept them on a few recruits. I think we flipped a couple guys from their program too, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Well, we got Justice Haynes from them. We got it wasn't really a flip. We just beat them out for guys like Bear McWhirter and Titan Davis, and Malachi Lee here recently.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of interested to see like how they're going to do moving forward through this recruitment cycle. Kind of another interesting team that's got some decent pickups. The Aggies assembling what can only be described as a monster squad going on over there with Bryce Perry White, an elite edge 5-star, DeQuivis Beck, elite 4-star linebacker.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce it 100% correctly, but I would say probably
DeQuivis? Yeah, I think that's probably right. I'm not great with pronunciations, so I mean, we'll if we're wrong, feel free to put the pronunciation down in the comments, or if you want to call up, just let us know. We'll drop the link in the chat. But yeah, I'm not sure myself. Looks like they're assembling quite the squad down there at the Aggies. What do you think about how they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, listen, oil money goes a long way, and Texas A&M, Texas Tech, the Texas Longhorns, a lot of them. I mean, they're recruiting in a big way in the NIL era. A&M's no slouch in that area either. They've got quite a good class. Let's see, Texas A&M currently has 24 commitments. It looks like they've got 3 5-stars according to 247, and then a good number of 4-stars.
Yeah, I mean, and like from what I understand,
About 9 to 10 4-stars.
I mean, last season they were a team to watch out for. So I mean, if they continue with that kind of a talent moving forward, I could see that them becoming a big problem, especially in this new era of how
Yeah, you're having you're entering the portal
could
yourself right now,
they add
man.
a
So
shake.
your signal's cutting out a lot. We're not able to really hear you.
Uh, a little bit better.
You can't hear anything you're saying, man. You sound like R2D2.
Uh, Hang on a minute.
All right, so while Lichemax is trying to uh, exit the portal and come back to us, so he opened up by talking about Jira Edwards. This is a 5-star prospect safety that was committed to Alabama. He's 6'2", 210. I'm just going to go ahead and read what 247 has written up for this kid. This is by Andrew Ivins, 247. Says his pro comp would be to recent drafted safety Malachi Starks. Says punishing defender that should offer some alignment flexibility as his next stop, as he can spin down into the box or patrol from the border. Owns a college-ready build with some promising features and tested off the charts spring before junior year. Spent much of his 11th grade campaign deployed as an oversized slot and did nothing but plays for one of the nation's top prep defenses. Triggers downhill in the snap of a finger and frequently arrives with violence. Comfortable crashing gaps, but is also effective in the alley as he uses sharp angles to get ball carriers on the ground. Instinctive in coverage and can match and mirror underneath routes with his lateral agility. Will take some chances when defending the pass, but unsuspecting length can bail him out. A bit older for the grade, but that should have him on the field sooner rather than later. Overall, projects as an all-around defensive playmaker that can make an impact on Saturdays and then possibly on Sundays with his physicality and athleticism. Likely to keep the tag of safety, but should really be viewed as a chess piece that can be moved all around in an era where position lines continue to blur. Looks like he played in the Under Armour All-American game. 2024 season, he for St. Francis Academy, the team went 8-3, and he was credited with 92 tackles, 17 TFLs, 6 pass breakups, and 3 forced fumbles. Let's see.
Is this a little bit better? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it's a little bit better now.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, Jira Edwards sounds like he's going to definitely be a force to reckon with when it comes to the 2026 season. If he's going to end up winning out that starting position on Alabama's defense.
Yeah, we've got.
The other one that I talked about from Alabama was Owen Cabell. He's a 3-star wide receiver they picked up last week for the 2026 commitment.
All right, so this is Jira Edwards' huddle tape from his junior season this last year, 2024. Much clearer picture on this one. All right, so he's on the right end of the line right there. Quick move in between the. That was a nice hit.
Yeah, he's definitely got some skill
So
out
here
there.
he's a safety, but here he's playing like right up on the line, man coverage.
Maybe they came out in like a 4-2-5 big nickel package.
Nice coverage there. Looked like he got the interception on that diving catch right there. Yeah, I mean he's playing right up on the line, like press coverage for safety. Was able to peel off his man and make the or break up the pass there. What's this going to be? This is going to be a blocked field goal. Yeah, block the field goal.
I could definitely see him becoming a problem coming into the 2026 season if he ends up winning that starting position as a freshman.
Yeah, I mean he's able to play his man with leverage, whether he's over top or underneath him. He's able to. I mean, he shows good breaking speed. Plays in the box. I mean, this seems like the scouting report said, you can literally line him up anywhere on the defensive side as needed. Play the run, play the pass. Need him in press coverage, need him in zone. It's like he can do whatever.
Yeah, I
See
mean,
why he was a 5-star.
I could see that being like I don't know. So I don't know a lot about Alabama rivalries or anything, but I think they have a rivalry with Oklahoma, don't they?
No, the rivalries are with Georgia, Auburn,
Georgia and Auburn.
and
Okay,
and I don't know if they have a rivalry with LSU or Florida, but I know those have been like some big matchups historically.
right. And I know that that Tennessee has also had a hate of the Crimson Tide as well, the Tennessee Vols. Oh, from what I understand, it's almost akin to our hatred of Ohio. But I haven't been down in Tennessee for long enough to really understand why. But I will say, like, the rivals are definitely going to want to keep an eye on this kid to see how he develops, because he's definitely a potential threat when it comes to those big games that they're going to be playing moving forward, especially if they make it to the playoffs either next
He's
season. That's definitely going to be something to keep an eye on.
Well, I don't know how much he'll play next season. I mean, Alabama's stacked pretty good at their DB room,
Right.
but I definitely can see him getting some playing time like his sophomore year.
I mean, I could potentially see it next year if they, especially if the playoff format stays the same. They may if they end up coming in low and not getting that getting in the second layer of the playoffs to start with. I could see them rotating their line more in the games, and I could see him getting in for a couple snaps at least.
Nice pass break up there.
Especially if he carries his high school skill into into the his college game. I could definitely see him seeing the field at least for a couple snaps, if not throughout the
Um,
season, then definitely potentially in the playoffs, even bowl week.
no, I'm not like I'm not some great film analyst or anything, but one thing that I did notice in that huddle tape right there was that he's very clean in his transitions from one guy to another and changing direction, switching coverages, switching which player he's defending, and being able to read the play and be in the right position. He's very good at that. So, um, stellar pickup by Alabama. Though.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's definitely going to be an issue for the future for going forward. That's a definite. The next 5 star that I think we should keep a lookout on is at Texas A&M, Bryce Perry White. He's an elite 5 star edge that they picked up. He was one of the top defenders in the 2026 class.
Let's see, give me a second. I'm trying to find him on Huddle, but
All right, that's
let's
fine.
see. There we go. Let me pull up, see what we got on him.
Uh,
Okay,
like neither of us know a whole lot about Texas Tech. We know what we saw last year in their rivalry game against their big brother, the Texas Longhorns. But
so it
from
looks
what
like
I
Bryce Perry Wright is a defensive lineman, 6'2", 250 out of Buford, Georgia. He committed to A&M. Wait a minute, did he? Yeah, okay. He committed to A&M. It looks like he had offers from Texas, Miami, Clemson, and Auburn, among others. Let's see. Scouting report for him shows that he played in the Polynesian Bowl and on the Navy All American Bowl. Um, has a pro comp to Grady Jarrett of the Atlanta Falcons. Says a quick twitch pocket pusher with impressive get off and body control that has created negative plays since he was a freshman in the Peach State. Lacks the ideal mass and measurables, but makes up for it with his mobility and energy. Excellent snap anticipation tends to give him an advantage, while lively hands allows him to maneuver his way into the backfield and finish the job. He attacked from multiple alignments while working primarily out of an odd front at the prep level, and should be able to do the same thing on Saturdays, as he has what it takes to be effective on stunts and games. Overall should excuse me. Overall should be viewed as an active interior defensive lineman that can shoot gaps and generate a rush. Will likely need further physical maturation before he's ready to go, but has game wrecking potential. He was a multi-sport athlete in track and field as well as football. He posted a 41-9 effort in the shot put as well as a 10th grader, with a 12.6 in the 100-meter dash and a 26.52 in the 200-meter dash as a ninth grader. 2024 season, he finished with 57 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 17 QB hits, 9 sacks to his credit, and helped his team go to a 12-2 record with where they reached the semifinals of the Georgia 6A division playoffs.
Kid sounds like he's going to be a monster when it comes to college.
Yeah, it looks like he just committed this past weekend. So yeah, I mean, he looks like a tough kid. I've got his highlights here. Let me know when you're
Oh yeah, we can play his highlights. But from the scouting report, it sounds like he's definitely going to be an issue when it comes to any team that walks into play Texas A&M. Like he definitely sounds like he's going to be a problem over there down there. Um, what are your thoughts after reading that scouting report?
I mean, he sounds like he's got the tools to be an athletic pass rushing D lineman. The concerns, from what I saw, were just his measurables being a little bit
Yeah,
undersized for the position, but that can be. I mean, he makes up for it with his athletic ability, and a lot of that his weight can be put on correctly once he's on campus at a major college university like Texas A&M. So I
for
wouldn't worry
sure.
too much about
It
it, but
it,
he's
it sounds
definitely
it's
someone that will need a year or two of development.
Yeah, it kind of it sounds like his agility kind of helps make up for that lack in size a little bit when it comes to getting into the backfield. But I do agree. I think once he gets into one of the
I mean, he just
college
bullied that
program there
tackle
at
right there.
yeah, I think once he gets into Texas to the Texas program, I think that'll help him. And yeah, he probably will need a red shirt for the first year. Is and we still develop a little bit more before hitting. I don't foresee him seeing a starting position until he's at least in his second to third year in.
Nice job there, extending to get the hand on the quarterback. Got through the line really nice there, stopped the run. He's got a quick first step off the line. Does
Yeah,
definitely look undersized, especially considering that he projects to be an inside D lineman.
yeah. Well, on the notes that I have, it had him set as an edge lineman.
Well, it looks like he played both in high school, but his scouting report here says that.
They're gonna put
Let's
him
see,
put him in on the inside as a tackle.
that's what it looks like.
I don't, yeah, see, I don't know about that. With him being undersized, I feel like he'd
Yeah,
fit
so
more of the
the
edge
scouting
role.
report on 247 specifically says overall should be viewed as an active interior defensive lineman that can shoot gaps and generate a rush. So he's a pass rushing defensive tackle, basically.
Yeah, I think he would fit more at the edge than he would on the inside.
I
I think
mean,
if you're projecting him on the inside, I feel like he should lose a star rating there because with how small
Well,
how
not
he is
necessarily.
undersized.
Not necessarily, because if you watch this tape right here, he's playing on mostly 3-4 front defenses. So he's
Yeah,
playing that run stopping, edge setting defensive end position, which is a sort of a
right,
hybrid between traditional defensive ends or edges and interior linemen. Um,
right. But when it
so
comes to like being an interior lineman, you got to have some bulk to be able to like to break through. Like
well, that's why I'm
being
saying, and that's why his report
right.
says that he's undersized.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm saying like if he's gonna be projected as an inside defensive lineman, I feel like if his 5 star rating comes from his skill at the edge, and they're projecting him as an inside defensive lineman, he should that should be a 4 star
You're in the portal again. But here's the thing:
because he was scouted
the
as an
stars are
edge
not.
at 5 star.
Well, no. So this is a misunderstanding of how star ratings work. Star ratings are your projection at the next level, college and potentially into the pros. So what they're saying is that he's going to be an interior lineman, projected as they're assuming that he's going to be able to be put on the weight and play that gap shooting interior lineman. In a 4-3, he would be an interior lineman pass rusher. In a 3-4,
Right.
he's going to play the defensive end, sort of the outside gap defensive lineman. But in a 3-4, that's still an interior lineman position because you generally have the linebackers coming down to the line on the edge. So
Yeah, I could see
he's not
that.
going to be an edge in a 3-4. He's not going to be an edge in a 4-3. He's just going to be but he is going to be sort of a hybrid if you're looking at the traditional roles of a defensive tackle and defensive end as an edge. But
Right, I could see that.
but he's not going to be an edge in either alignment with modern football.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So if in that case, then yeah, I guess his star rating would make a little sense if they're looking at the projections instead of what he is now. Then yeah, I could see where he could rank as a 5 star, especially looking at his technique
See
here
right
and
here,
the huddle
he
footage.
was lined up on the edge of the defensive line. He was out lined up outside lineman, but
Yeah.
there was a pass rushing linebacker. So in the pass rush itself, he was not the edge.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I could see where they would get a 5 star projection given the technique that we're seeing play out in this huddle footage here. Which I mean, given this is all of his best moments, but still, looking at the technique he's putting on, I mean, like the scouting report said, you get some weight on him. He's definitely going to be an elite at his position in the future.
Right. I mean, he's got good tape. I mean, he lines up. I mean, it's high school, so he's able to play edge a little bit more in high school than he will at college or pro level. But
Right. Yeah.
he's definitely at the college level. He's not going to be an edge because in modern football, edges have to be able to drop into coverage too, and he's not going to do.
Yeah. I don't see him being great at that situation. So, I mean,
Speaking
given
of
all of
Texas
the
A&M, though, I do want to
yeah
bring up another commit that they have. Someone that I personally have talked to on multiple occasions. We actually had him on for an interview over at the Maze Madman channel. He was a Michigan target. He did commit to Texas A&M back on the I don't know the exact date. It was like around the 20th, give or take. Well, it was like maybe the 25th, give or take.
of June.
Um, yeah, of June. So, well, no, of July. We haven't got there yet. So but he
Oh,
did commit to Texas A&M. But he's a monster of a player. His name is Zayden Krempin. He's an offensive lineman. He played primarily tackle for his high school, in Prosper, Texas. He projects kind of as a versatile offensive lineman that you can line up at tackle or guard. I know if he had come to Michigan, he probably would have looked at being more of an inside lineman, but depending on the team's needs, he could play anywhere. Um, there's not a whole lot on scouting report on 247 here. It does show that it has some of his stats from his sophomore year. But let me pull up his huddle tape and you'll see. I think this kid's absolutely going to be a force in college football.
while he's
Um,
pulling that up, make sure you guys check out the Maze Madman show as well. They're a friend of the gamer Sideline. Both of us appear over there. Uh, Kinetik's regular host. I will be appearing over there during the season to fact check and do and keep everyone updated on the stats throughout the game. Along with that, make sure that you check out the description. There's a link in there for Kinetik's GoFundMe. He's going through some stuff, and if you have any questions, don't be shy about reaching out to him on any of the platforms that you find him on. I'm sure he's more than happy to explain to you the situation if the GoFundMe doesn't explain it well enough. Also, while you're here, make sure that you drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and also make sure you share this with your on your socials. Want to try to
Yeah,
get up
I
to
appreciate that.
I want to try to get to 500 subscribers. So if we can hit that, we'll have something special planned for when we hit that milestone.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. And like you said, with the GoFundMe link, check it out, read through it. I try to post updates on there when I have anything of substance to update with. Just going through a hard time right now for myself and my mother, and trying to keep bills paid until I can get the disability to come through. But happy to answer any questions anyone has on that. All right, so here's the huddle tape for Zayden. Again, he's a great kid, great young man. His personality, like he's polite, well mannered. But when he gets in the game, puts on that helmet, he's a monster, dude. He's a mauler.
I personally think he would have fit right in with the Michigan
I
culture
agree.
over there.
Look at this. Look at this play again here. He plays to the whisper of the whistle. Watch this guy. Right? Watch this play right here. Just bullies this edge. Look, just not letting up. Like Zayden is a monster, dude. I love his game. I love the way he plays. I really wish we look at that. I really wish we would have gotten him for Michigan, but it's going to be fun watching him in his career at Texas A&M. And
Yeah,
I
I
hope
hope
he has the yeah. I hope he shows out and has a great career ahead of him. I really like this kid.
I really hope that
See, there he's
that
playing
we
interior line, and he's just as good interior on that play.
I really hope that we up here in the north don't see Texas A&M while he's at the helm of the defense.
Yeah, he's a monster, dude.
Cause that
I am
that's
such a big fan of Zayden, both as a person and as a football player. He's just look. I mean, he's just a mauler, dude. Like he's good in pass. But look at that. He just blocked one guy, and when he had him contained, jumped off onto another rusher and stopped him in his tracks.
yeah. I mean he's a monster
No,
on defense.
here. Look at that. Look at him. He's still going 10 yards down the field, still blocking his guy. Zayden is something else, dude. I love watching him.
He's for sure a force to be reckoned with when it comes to lining up against him on defense. You're definitely going to have like any player, any team that lines up against Zaven Crippen is going to have a bad time. Like he's gonna block you. He's gonna keep you blocked, and he's gonna draw
Look
very
at that.
little. He's
Look at the hole
he's
here.
not gonna
When we interviewed
and he's
him, I asked him what he liked better, pass pro or run block. Look at this hole he opens up for the running back. Like I don't look. Okay, watch it again. Okay, so right here, 74. Watch him. Watch the hole that he not only opens up but maintains as the running back cuts back into it. Watch this. It's just he's such a monster, dude. Look at him right here. Like, it's insane watching him play. Now his quarterback got sacked there, but it wasn't his guy. He
right.
he's just a beast, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with. You're definitely going to have to keep an eye out on him when it comes to the game.
Taking on the edge right there. Look, he's 50. The play is almost over, and he's still like, watch this. It's fucking hilarious. Look him up here. He's still pushing him backwards.
Yeah.
I love watching him play, dude.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with, and he's in the 2026 class, correct? Going to the Texas A&M.
Correct. He'll be committed. He's committed right now to Texas A&M for the 2026 class.
Yeah, so like,
He's so fun to watch, dude. Like he it's funny because like I said, he's a very well mannered, well spoken young man. We had him on there for the interview, and like I was so impressed with him as a person. But like he puts that helmet on, and he's just another animal. It's insane to watch him. Look at that. Let's look at this right here. Watch this. Watch. Just throws him to the ground. I mean, his technique is so clean.
yeah, I mean,
Just
it's a shame. It's a shame that Michigan missed out on him because he would have been a great addition to our squad.
listen. I think that we've got a great offensive line class with Michigan.
Oh yeah,
I would have liked to see Zayden in that class, but I understand. We're kind of stacked at that position, and like I said, if
yeah,
he had come to Michigan, he likely would have been probably playing at guard or as a swing tackle that could move over to tackle as needed. And
yeah. That
A&M is probably going to play him more as a primary tackle position. So I
yeah, and he'll
completely
probably get a
understand.
starting, and he'll probably get a starting job a lot sooner than at Michigan.
Yeah, most likely. And I mean, so listen, he made the best decision for him. As much as I wish he would have come to Michigan, he made a great decision for himself. A&M's still a great school. He's going to do great things there, and I can't
Oh
wait to
yeah,
watch him.
absolutely.
Look at that! Just it
Yeah,
completely takes the edge rusher out of the play every time.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing his game next season. But yeah, I'm happy that he found a
Watch
place
this.
that works best for
Watch this
him.
right here. Keep your eye on Zayden in this play, right up here. All right, so he gets through the line. He's blocking this guy. Watch him the entire play. It just doesn't let his guy go until the play's over.
I mean, that's a great intensity to have, especially when you're playing Texas football because they get pretty intense down there.
Oh yeah, and he's
So
doing this against other Texas teams. It's crazy. So
so the
shout out to
next
Zayden.
yeah the next recruits to look at, we got Notre Dame making some moves out there, picking up Devin Fitzgerald. He's a 4-star wide receiver. He's out of Arizona.
Devin Fitzgerald is also the son of Hall of Fame. I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame yet, but if not, future Hall of Fame NFL receiver Larry Fitzgerald.
He's got a legacy to live up to. That's for sure. Uh,
Yeah, you're in the portal again.
I don't
But
know.
to to go over the scouting report real quick while Lichemax fixes his connection there. This is a scouting report on 247 by Greg Biggins. It says Fitzgerald has made a big jump in his development over the last year and especially this offseason. He has clearly established himself as one of the top players in the region and one of the better receivers nationally as well. Has a strong athletic frame with big hands and has improved his twitch and athleticism. He's moving more fluidly, looks more explosive getting down the field, and has more juice in his game from an athletic standpoint. He was always polished in terms of his route running and ball skills, which isn't surprising when you consider his father, Larry Fitzgerald, was one of the most technically sound receivers to ever play the game. To see the jump in athleticism has been encouraging, and he's also filling out his frame, pushing 200 pounds and looking stronger. And he's playing with a ton of confidence. He's winning jump ball battles, catching the ball through contact, and his game is definitely trending in the right direction. A legitimate high major NFL prospect in his own right, and has the tools to be an immediate impact player at the next level as well. He also played basketball and lacrosse in high school. In the 2024 season, he played 13 games with 52 catches, 720 yards, and 9 touchdowns, with an average of 13.8 yards per catch. Let's see. Looks like Fitzgerald, like his father, has pretty incredible measurables. He's 6'2", 205 as a receiver. He's out of Phoenix, Arizona. Played for Brophy College Prep in Phoenix. He's listed as a 3-star prospect currently. It looks like he had a commitment or had offers from Notre Dame, Stanford, Clemson, UCLA, and committed to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Let's see.
Is that is my am I coming through clear now?
Yep, a little bit better now.
All right. Yeah, from I mean throughout this recruiting cycle, Marcus Freeman has been kind of on a tear with what he's been picking up. I mean, he's lost some, but he's also gained some big names and some high star targets,
Yeah,
placing
so
Notre
here,
Dame pretty high up on the recruiting class rankings.
should watch that first step on this first play here. Camera kind of buzzes out for a minute, but watch this. Just right up the seam. Here he is on the outside boundary. Switches with the inside guy. 2 defenders, just a little stutter step to jump out from behind him, and the quarterback's able to recognize it. Here he's on a little screen pass, spins around 1 defender. I mean, and gets quite a decent number of yards after that first hit there. Good catch on the sideline. Good move, initial first move after the catch. I mean, this kid was raised to be a wide receiver.
Oh, for sure. I mean, look. I mean, especially with who his dad
Wow.
is,
Did you see that
or
block
I
from
guess
the wide
relatives.
receiver?
I don't know.
Watch, this
I
was a
missed
block.
it.
Here, hold on. Let me back up a little bit more. It's after, not this play, it's the next one. Yeah, right here. Watch him block this guy.
Oh,
For a wide receiver, for a 6'2", 200-pound wide receiver, it's pretty good technique on that. There he is
yeah,
blocking again
sure.
for a run play.
You know that
The
is
wide
something that
receiver screen.
and that kind of a technique is something that Notre Dame's desperately going to need moving forward into the 2026 season.
Definitely
We
got good
saw
moves to break tackles, make defenders miss, and even, I mean, he uses his weight and momentum to fall forward and get even a
right.
couple extra yards even in the middle of a tackle. So his technique is A+. His route running is A+. I mean,
How do you
considering
think
his
he's
father would
gonna?
be,
You're right. Yeah. I
not
mean,
surprising.
do you think he's gonna match up pretty well with CJ Carr?
I don't know what else Notre Dame has, but I mean, I don't think he's going to be a negative.
Yeah, I don't like having the ability to pick up blocks and also run routes, catch and make plays happen. I think that's something that Notre Dame is going to definitely need going into the 2026 season. I'm not sure like how stacked they are at the wide receiver room. From what I've been seeing from a very annoying Notre Dame fan in the Maze Madman Discord, they've been picking up a lot of top talent throughout this recruiting cycle. So I don't know how far up on the depth chart he's going to get to in his first year, or if he's going to win a starting position. That's something we could look into for a future episode. Maybe is go over Notre Dame's recruiting compared to Michigan's.
Right.
That could be a neat idea. Speaking of Michigan, let's talk about Michigan's recruiting.
All right, let's see more about that.
We've had some celebrations this week, this past week. We've had a decent amount of celebrations. We also had a few letdowns.
No, we had one.
What? Well, yeah, we had one letdown who got stuck in traffic and magically decided to go a different route. But we also got a friend of the Maze Madman's channel, Travis Johnson. He committed
Yeah.
on the 4th of July.
Is that who you want me to pull up?
Yeah, let's pull up some tape on Travis Johnson. Now, if you guys missed it, or if you guys weren't don't know about it, Mace Madman a few weeks ago, I believe, had an interview with Travis's mom.
Yeah, she was awesome too. I wasn't
Yeah,
live on the show, but I was in the chat during the show.
if you want to know more about Travis Johnson, who he is as a person and everything, I highly recommend going to find that video on the Maze Madman channel and checking it out because it was a fantastic interview. It was very professionally done by Maze over there at the M3 show. It was a phenomenal interview. There's not much I can really say. I can't like say bad about it. Like he did a phenomenal job interviewing Travis Johnson's mom. I believe she also went by the Momager. I believe that was her moniker on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm
it
having
was.
trouble finding his huddle tape. Hold on.
He's a great pickup for the 2026 season. He's excited to play to be receiving catching passes from Bryce Underwood. He's excited to play under Chip Lindsey. I keep wanting to say Chip Kelly. He's excited. He's excited to come to the come experience the tradition and the brotherhood over there at in Ann Arbor with the Michigan Wolverines. From what I understand, the team's excited to have him over there.
Wait, give me just a second. I'm having trouble finding
All right.
his huddle tape.
Uh,
Oh, wait, no,
oh.
here. They have it linked on the 247.
Oh, okay. That but he's a phenomenal wide receiver. He's going to be. I
Okay,
think he's going to do great things over there at Michigan.
so here's his scouting report. Well-rounded wide receiver with the size, speed, and focus to emerge as a trusted option at the power forward level. Power forward level height and bounce suggests that he's destined to play on the outside, but is sudden and quick enough to win from an interior alignment with a slick route running. Attacks cushion with good surge off the line and can reach a top gear before changing course with full tilt cuts. Might not be a true power forward at the catch point, but can play above shoulder pads with his timing and body control. Will shed a tackle or two with the ball in his hands and has surprising agility in tight quarters for someone of his stature. Missed time as a junior due to injury, but still finished the season with over 1,000 receiving yards before turning heads at the OT7 finals summer before senior year. Rather narrow in the shoulders for a pass catcher that's verified at over 6'3", but projects as a potential impact player on Saturdays that will work for his quarterbacks. Mature game could have him in the lineup sooner rather than later. As his athletic background, he was a two-sport star, football and basketball. With basketball, he helped his high school, Oscar Smith, reach Virginia's 6A semifinals as an 11th grader, earned all-region second-team honors, scored 30 points against Western Branch as a 10th grader. In football, 2024, caught 63 passes for 1,053 yards and 17 touchdowns for an Oscar Smith squad that went 15-0 and captured a Virginia Class 6A championship. Missed a handful of games due to injury, was named to the Virginia Pilots all-Tidewater team. He stands at 6'3", 185, according to 247. And he went to Oscar Smith High School out of Chesapeake, Virginia. And let me get it pulled up here. All right, so here's his huddle tape.
All right. So after reading that scouting report, I mean, you were also there for the commitment, and you've seen the interview. What are your thoughts on Travis Johnson?
I mean, he seems like a great kid. I mean, his mom was awesome. She definitely raised him and his brother right. I believe his brother. I might be wrong on this. Don't kill me if I'm wrong, guys. But I believe he plays at like UAB or something like that. Him and his brother are both good players. But I mean, Michigan has three really good takes at I just noticed he's playing on a college field right now. I wonder if that was the championship game.
It could have been.
But no, I mean, so with him, Zion Robinson, Jalen Pyle, all committed to Michigan at receiver. I think they're all really good. Travis is easily the most polished receiver right here. Look at that. Look at his route running, his ability to go up and get it, his speed. Like he's all around a really good, just a well-rounded wide receiver prospect who could potentially play year one. I mean, this is his junior year highlights, and like he's only going to get better this year in his senior year at high school, and then another year in the books, he'll come to Michigan that would on what'll be Bryce's sophomore year, and I think he could easily be get into rotation there along with the guys that we got this year like Andrew Marsh, Jamar Browder. I think we'll even have Samaj and Fred Moore still for another year. But I could see him breaking into the rotation year one.
Yeah, I could see that too. He's got the skill, he's got the motor. He's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with when it comes to the passing game for Michigan. And I think coming into like the a year two under a brand new offensive coordinator is going to be even better because we'll have
Look
more
at
of a
that catch right there. Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you, but I just want to point out these highlights.
Yeah, I mean, I think him coming.
Watch this right here. Like he had that route. I don't know if you saw it. That route, he had a nice first step, a nice stutter step, like a on a double move route, and then
Yeah,
goes on the street. He's underneath the defender, goes up and boxes his guy out for the catch, and then his defender falls, so he just keeps going right into the end zone.
and it's
Sorry,
that kind
I
of a
didn't mean
skill
to
that I
interrupt.
think it's gonna earn him a
Look
starting
at that.
position when
Look
he
at that
comes
double
in.
move and the way he sold it as a hitch route there. Hold on. Watch how he sells this hitch route right here. Watch. Cuts inside, hitch. Nope, keeps going. Wow. Yeah,
I
Travis
think it's gonna
Johnson.
work. Yeah, it's definitely going to work to his benefit coming in the second year after a brand new offensive coordinator appointment because we're going to have the game plan more. We're going to have a more polished game plan. We're going to have the new system implemented fully, uh, integrated and implemented fully into the Michigan tradition of how we like to play. So like him coming in, he's not going to have to deal with the growing pains of year one offensive coordinator uh, of the year one offensive coordinator. He's going to come in with the offensive coordinator being fully established and uh, ready to go. I think that's going to work to his benefit 'cause he's not going to have those early uncertainties when it comes to implementing a brand new system or even merging two systems. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think with his skill and his athleticism, I think when he comes in, you're right. He is gonna come in and he's gonna be a starter like right off the bat. I don't think he's gonna have to redshirt his first year. I think it might be to his benefit to redshirt his first year, but if we really need him, I think he could start day one at Michigan once he makes the leap to college.
So the thing is though, like, okay, they're obviously different players, okay? But I think that the way that I envision Travis Johnson being used in his freshman year is the same way that I expect Andrew Marshall be used in his freshman year this year. He's definitely an outside receiver that can move inside. He's a little undersized for outside receiver, but his skills make up for it. And I definitely see him getting nice rotation minutes at receiver this year, his freshman year. I think going into next year, I expect Andrew Marshall be um, solidly in a starting role at wide receiver, probably
Yeah,
alongside senior Fred Moore at that point. Um, and I expect that you'll see Travis Johnson sort of move into the rotational role that Andrew Marsh is in this year. But that said, I mean, it's really hard to tell because there's so many like we actually have decent guys at wide receiver, but it was hard to tell what we had last year between the quarterback and OC play that we had. It was hard to
yeah.
tell who's actually really good in our wide receiver room. I mean, we could see Kendrick Bell, we could see Channing Goodwin, we could see some of those guys, Amari and Stewart, take a step forward as well. And if that happens, then maybe his ability to break that rotation is diminished a little bit. But based on what we know or don't know right now, I definitely see him being able to step in day one.
I mean, I could see in the Chip Lindsey system him at like day one being at the very worst a relief player, if that makes sense. Like he's still in that rotational role, but he's rotational as a relief. If that like he'll come in to relieve receivers who have been been the favorite targets and getting a lot of the snaps that just need to take a rest on the sideline for a couple plays if we've had a really long drive down the field. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I could see that happening as like a
Look at
very
that
as like
catch.
a worst case scenario.
Hold on. Watch this catch. Watch it. Watch him right here. He's on the outside right here. Watch this.
I mean, he's got some crazy skill. That's for sure. And I think he was a phenomenal pickup by Michigan. I think we had it kind of in the books ever since the interview with his. I think it was pretty much expected that he was going to be coming to Michigan, even though she couldn't really like say for certain at that time.
I
But
mean,
I'm
I
glad. I'm really
believe
happy
him
that
and
that
Zion
he
Robinson were both
committed.
silent commits for a long time, or not for a long time, but for at least since their OB a few
Yeah,
weeks earlier. I think that they were both silent commits. I can't say that for sure. Nobody's told me that, but I mean, they just felt like Michigan commits.
yeah, for sure. I mean, to be fair, we also thought that Russell was a silent commit up until he wasn't as well. Well, I guess up until he got caught in traffic on his way to his commitment ceremony. Not sure,
Yeah.
like
So
if he got ran down in traffic and like he got offered a better deal or what, but I mean, yeah, it was pretty assumed by most of the community, even like it seemed like most of the staff that he was committing to Michigan on the 5th.
yeah. So you're talking about Calvin Russell, right?
Yeah, Calvin Russell.
Okay. So I want to start off by saying I don't have any hate towards Calvin Russell. Again, just like I said about Zayden earlier, it's his decision to make. He weighed all the options. He made the best decision for himself, for his future that he believed it to be. And I'm not in any way trying to take away from that kid's ability to make that decision or to trash him in any way. I would have absolutely loved to see him at Michigan. Um, that said, I think it is fair to comment on what transpired and what I've learned about what happened and to give my opinions on it. And this is not, again, I'm not trying to trash the kid. These kids are making life altering decisions for their future, and I'm not that kid. That kid's not a fan of Michigan like I am. He's got to weigh the options himself. But it is fair to make to make form opinions and make and to comment positive and negative on things that we see. So the kid is extremely he's very talented and has extreme potential. He is rated a 5 star, like I was saying earlier, based on the projections of his ceiling, of where he could go if he reaches his full potential. He has incredible measurables. So like real quick, just to pull this up real quick, okay? So you can see why he's listed as a 5 star. Calvin Russell. Okay, he's listed as a 5 star. This is his scouting report. So he's 6'5", 195. Okay, 6'5", 195. That's part of why he got a 5 star rating.
Oh, for sure.
He played basketball. He ran track and field. He played football, all at a high level. Okay, he's projected as a 2 sport star in college because of his track record and his physical ability. Okay, that said, he was not wide receiver one on his high school team. He did not have a ton of production on his high school team. So his 2024 season, and he was being coached by former NFL quarterback Teddy Bridgewater at his high school. He only caught 39 passes. Okay. Now he had 704 yards and 13 touchdowns on those 39 passes. So he did have pretty good production compared to how many passes he got, but he was not wide receiver one on that team. He also ran in for 2 touchdowns, for rushing touchdowns as well. His basketball, he was decent, but at the high school level, he averaged 21 points per game, 7 rebounds. That's not like blowing out of this world numbers at the high school level. So his projection is based largely on his ceiling and where he could go. It's the opposite of Travis Johnson, where Travis Johnson, you can clearly see how polished he is right now. If you were to put Travis Johnson and Calvin Russell on a football team today together, Travis Johnson is wide receiver one over Calvin Russell. Now, the projection is that Calvin Russell has a slightly higher ceiling than somebody like Travis Johnson or than most of the other wide receivers in the country. So the thing that you got to remember about this recruitment too is, as far as from Michigan side, they were comfortable with the three that they had, with Zion Robinson, Travis Johnson, and Jalen Pyle. We weren't even in the mix for Calvin Russell until like maybe 6 weeks ago. It came really late in the cycle. He added us to his final list. He had a really late visit. Bryce Underwood hosted him on his visit, and everything seemed to be trending towards Michigan. Then about 2 weeks ago, I heard through the grapevine that it was between Michigan and Syracuse, both schools. Dusty Dusty May, our football coach at Michigan, got involved in his recruitment. He's been recruiting him for basketball since before he came to Michigan, before Dusty May came to coach at Michigan. So he had a long-standing relationship with Calvin Russell. That's what put Michigan in the top two, was the ability to play football and basketball. That said, Dusty May has a much better team right now than he did at FAU or wherever it was he was at before he came to Michigan. Calvin Russell likely would have been on the basketball team. I don't know that he would have been a heavy rotation player. I don't think he would have been a starter at Michigan, at least not this next season.
I think he would have ended up having to redshirt the first season, especially with us having
I don't
the
know
three
about redshirt.
that we got.
I don't know about redshirt, but I don't think he would have seen starter minutes in his first season. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't followed basketball nearly as closely as I used to. But he also would have been, he needed to be developed and on the football field as well. So I think he has an easier. So about a week and a half ago, I was on a show. I forget which show it was. Juju was on there, and I mentioned that it was down to us in Syracuse. And Juju was like, and Juju knows a lot about recruiting, and he was like, Syracuse is out of it. He's cut down to his top three, that it's us, Florida State, and Oregon. But I was still hearing that Syracuse, it was us and Syracuse. So there was some miscommunication. It seemed like there was different information going out to different sides. EJ Holland of the Wolverine and On Three, now I guess with Rivals, then said a couple days later in his recruiting report that he was still hearing it was Michigan and Syracuse, even though Calvin Russell had told On Three that Syracuse was not in his top three. And so it was like, okay, what's going on here? Is he telling different information to one side and different information to another side? Is this a marketing gimmick to drive interest? Like, what are we doing? Why are we getting different information? And then you go into his recruitment, and he's an hour late to his own announce party, his own commitment party. He was telling guys like Sam Webb, who was and some of the coaching staff, that he was stuck in traffic, which just doesn't make sense. he was reportedly telling coaches and other recruits in the class, in Michigan's class, including Bryce Underwood, who was his student
Sponsor.
guide or sponsor on his official visit to campus, that he was committing to Michigan. So he shows up almost an hour late. Now, that hour late, he got something like a few 100,000 new followers on his Instagram by being late, because people were trying to get any notifications of activity because they didn't know what was going on. So it feels like a very contrived publicity setup in the way he was sharing different information with different insiders, putting out graphics without Syracuse on it, even though apparently Syracuse was all the way in on it, and then supposedly stuck in traffic. But the rumor is that he was on the phone with Fran Brown last minute and got Fran Brown, the head coach at Syracuse, and got them to up the NIL deal, because he even tweeted out, I think, like 30 minutes late for his commitment party, that he hasn't committed to anybody.
Yeah.
So it's like he was trying to negotiate at the last minute. And then the way he came into his party, and then the volume goes out, and we don't know what's going on. And it just seemed very contrived. It seemed very dishonest. The way that he then committed to Syracuse after telling guys like Bryce Underwood and other recruits in the class he was coming to Michigan, the way everything went down. And again, to each their own. You know, it's brand brand prestige and selling yourself and driving hype. That's the game now in sports. But there's a way to do it with honesty and integrity, and a way to do it with dishonesty. And I can't say for sure that he did all this in a contrived way to drive up interest, to drive in followers, to drive up the NIL price. I don't know. But when you look at everything from a bird's eye view and as the big picture, it seems very shady in my opinion. And
Like
for
my
that
my
reason,
hot
that's why I gave my opinion that I gave on the Maze Madman channel last night. That in my
yeah.
opinion, I personally, from what I've seen, and I'm sure Michigan's still going to keep some level of contact with him in case he decides to flip later. But if it were up to me, if we were going to try to flip another wide receiver late in the cycle, I'd go after somebody like Tristan Keys, who's currently committed to LSU, and but he's still taking visits to places like Tennessee. Um,
Yeah, let's
I would
take
try to
let's
get
take
in on.
two LSU players in the same
Oh, I
same
would love it.
cycle.
Oh, and don't even get me started on the fact that we're apparently in the mix to pull 2027 quarterback Elijah Haven out of Louisiana away from LSU too. So,
That would be
um,
fantastic. My hot
but
take on the
but I'm,
Calvin
I'm
Russell
just out on
thing
the
is,
kid. I'm just out on the kid.
yeah, my hot take on the Calvin Russell thing is I don't think he would have been a good fit at Michigan anyway, given the whole circumstance of his commitment announcement. Like you said, he was an hour late, which drove up followers. That kind of seems extremely shady to me. Like he's just seeking attention, like a diva type. And then at the last minute, after telling everyone on the coaching staff and in like other commits at Michigan, including Bryce, that he's committing to Michigan, he gets allegedly negotiates a higher NIL deal from Syracuse. Like to me, that's just shiesty. You know, that's that's being a bag chaser without the camaraderie behind it. Like if you're gonna come, like if you're gonna, I don't think that's the kind of player that we want at Michigan anyway. I like if it were up to me, I would drop the recruitment on him immediately because he's not the kind of player that Michigan wants anyway. Like yeah, he has talent. We've seen his talent. He's a phenomenal player, but I just don't think his mentality is. I don't think he has the Michigan mentality.
Well,
I mean,
and listen,
I think that we could probably pay for the Michigan mentality out of him. Seems like that's a popular thing with him, but I just don't think that would be a right fit at Michigan anyway.
yeah, and listen, you can have some of those guys on the roster, and sometimes they can come around to the right mentality. Um, and again, I'm not trying to talk trash about the kid personally. Like more power to him. to do what's best for him,
Yeah.
and it's his life
Uh,
to make his
real
decisions.
quick, real quick. I also want to preface my hot take with I do wish him the best. I hope he balls out at Syracuse. I hope that was the right decision for him. Like that's
Yeah,
just my
absolutely.
personal hot take opinion on how the situation looked on commitment day. That's just how I saw
Absolutely,
it.
but here's the thing though, like so, if you go and look at the interviews that we've had over on the Maze Madman channel with the recruits and the players that we've gotten at Michigan, and you hear the maturity, and you hear the team first mentality, and you hear the respect that
Yeah,
they give in the way that they talk, and you look at the players on the team. There's a mantra with with our team with the wide receivers, to try to get that diva mentality out of them. It's called no block, no rock. Meaning, if you're not willing to get in there and get dirty and block on run plays, you're not going to be in there on passing plays. You're not going to get to have the glory of the pass catches if you're not willing to play football, even when you're not being highlighted. You really see that mentality with a lot of the players. You look at Andrew Marsh, you look at Jalen Pyle, you look at Travis Johnson, you look at Zion Robinson, but even our pass guys, you look at Kendrick Bell, even Samaj Morgan, who's sometimes, I love Samaj, but sometimes he's a loudmouth, but he's respectful,
right.
and
And I
he
mean,
puts in the work, and he does what needs to be done, and that's what the team mentality is. So like when you see somebody who comes in, who you look on his Instagram and he's talking about how great he is and how he's the best in the world and he's the all this stuff, and it's like it just gives off a different vibe. And so I don't disagree with you. I don't think he would be a great culture fit. That doesn't mean that you have to have a great culture fit in every recruit. But
right.
I do think that you don't want too many of those guys in the room at the same time. And
Yeah,
we would have been great if we had gotten him. I think we're going to be great even without him. So
yeah, I agree. I mean, I mean, a good attitude comparison would be like DK Metcalf or what's that Cowboys receiver? I forget, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Uh, One of the highest paid receivers on the Cowboys team. I can't remember what his name is. It's on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember it.
well, what
Um, it's the Cowboys receiver
CD Lamb?
who CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, it's like a DK Metcalf, a CeeDee Lamb, a George Pickens. That he remind his attitude just kind of seems like he fits like one of those archetypes.
Right. I mean, you look at the top end receivers we've had in the past, like Nico Collins, Donovan Peoples Jones, Tariq Black, going back farther, Braylon Edwards, guys like that. Or even
Yeah,
look at the mentality of guys like Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, I as a Vikings fan, I feel extremely blessed to have him as the top receiver, not only in on our team but in the league, because he's the absolute opposite of a diva. He's a quiet kid that grew up as a shy kid who is extremely talented. He's spoken at length about having to come out of his shell to be a leader on the team. That he,
yeah,
to be a leader when he was this like shy, quiet kid. He went through his second contract negotiations last year. Um, didn't cry about it. Played the season before with 100% intensity all the time. Never talked about it on social media. Uh, Went through it respectfully through the entire process. Never once tried to, throw a fit, act like a diva, demand to get traded, anything like that. He handled it respectfully, and then as soon as it got done, he came in and he said, you know, my coaching staff got it done, my agent got it done. I'm happy to be here. Like he was just super respectful about it in every way possible. He's literally the opposite of the diva wide receiver, and
right,
that's the type of mentality that you have to have. The theme for Michigan's team this year was team over me, meaning the team over the individual. And to have that mentality, to have that brotherhood, you have to, like, everyone has to buy into that. And if you have too many players that are all about me over the team, then you don't get that same family feel, that same culture.
Yeah, and you got to have a good culture at a team. You got to have a brotherly bond to be able to pull the kind of wins that a lot of these teams pull out. Like, I mean, you can have like some divas on the team and still make a great have a great season, but it's what happens in the portal that really starts hurting the team when people start demanding to be traded because their NIL deal wasn't great. Like, for example, uh, the quarterback out of Tennessee. I forgot. I think it's like Nico something. Nico Collins, I think was it?
Nico Collins. Wait, hold on. You're talking about the quarterback out of
The
Tennessee. Nico Collins is the former Michigan wide receiver that plays for the Texans.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like yeah,
You're talking about Nico Iamaleava?
yeah, yeah, that guy. That's probably why I didn't know his last name because I can't pronounce it. Yeah,
Well,
Nico that was
it's
originally out of
if you
Tennessee.
look at the spelling of his name, it's hilarious considering what he did this year. It's spelled out that you could pronounce it as I am a Leva.
But yeah, Nico out of Tennessee, like they could get skipped practice to try to use that as a negotiating ploy to get more money out of the school. And at the end of the day, he ended up getting encouraged to transfer and go elsewhere because Tennessee didn't feel
And
he
it's
was
so
worth that.
stupid what he did, dude. Listen, I like
Right?
Nico. I was so high. You heard me praise Nico last offseason. I thought he was going to
Yeah,
break out and be great. But
he could
his
have.
his father and whoever else is in his camp advising him are absolutely dumb. They handled this whole thing in the worst possible way. So apparently, back in December when they made the college football playoffs, they tried to force Tennessee to pay him more in NIL because they said, well, the NIL that we agreed to was for the 12 games of the regular season, not for playoff games. Stupid. Then it gets to he waits. He doesn't go enter the winter transfer portal. If he was unhappy at that point, he could have entered the portal when as soon as Tennessee was eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah,
Um, but he didn't. They waited until, and if he had at that point, he probably could have got the same or higher NIL offer from another team. But
for
they
sure.
waited until like the week before Tennessee's spring game, or like a couple days before Tennessee's spring game, to go in and demand more NIL money, or he was going to transfer. And Tennessee was like, "Well, then transfer, because we're not going to do that." And so then,
Tennessee swung
so
that
then
door
they
wide open for him.
right. So then they burned the bridge with Tennessee before knowing where else he would go. They did it after a lot of the teams that needed quarterbacks filled that need in the winter portal, and then he entered the portal. There was only like three teams that were interested in him. Only one or two of them were Power Four teams. Supposedly USC was the target for him, but I don't know that they ever even showed interest in him. He ended up going
Right.
to UCLA to make less money. So see,
Yeah.
he was going to make. I want to say he was going to make it was like 1.5 or no, it was like 2 million. It was a little over 2 million. It was like 2.3 million or something.
Yeah.
This next year at NIL in Tennessee, and he ends up going to UCLA for like 1.3 or 1.5. So not only did he burn his bridge in Tennessee by trying to demand more than what he was going to make this season at Tennessee, but he then transfers to a school with a worse roster in a tougher
Yeah.
conference. That's opinion, but in a tougher conference
Yeah.
with fewer weapons to make less money, and then on top of the difference between like 1.5 and 2.3 million, you went from Tennessee that has no state income tax
And it's just a beautiful state to be in,
to go back to California, which
which
has
is
the
horrible.
highest state income tax outside of maybe New York, but I'm not sure. Um,
I think California's got New York beat still.
well, whichever one, it's either the worst or the second worst state income tax. I saw someone did the math, and after state taxes on his NIL deal, he's not even going to make $700,000 this year. So we
Yeah,
went from 2.3 million in Tennessee to less than 700,000 to play for a worse team.
at a worse
That
program.
they like the people advising him. are out of their minds and handled it the worst possible way you can handle
And
NIL negotiation.
yeah, and they also made it a public spectacle during the negotiations as well,
Correct.
which made it even harder for him to find a team to transfer to. Because after like your who is supposed to be the leader of your offense or your team pulls something like that, that kind of makes him look horrible when it comes to potential recruitment. Because who wants a guy who's going to flake because he doesn't get paid enough?
Correct.
Who wants a guy who's not going to have the team mentality, especially when it comes to comes to games? What happens if during the season, like he just doesn't like how much he's making, and he just decides not to show up for a game? What are you gonna like? That's a risk that you're taking out when you recruit a guy like that, and it's
Right.
just not. And that goes into play with that diva mentality or that bag chaser mentality. Like it's not a good fit for many teams that don't want to deal with that. Like, and we're one of the teams that, like, if we do pick someone up like that, we're gonna teach them the right way to be.
Right. No,
And I
absolutely. And
think
again, this isn't
that
trashing Nico. I actually personally am a fan of Nico as a player, but I think it's
yeah,
fair to be able to comment on and criticize the situation, how him and his camp handled it, and the advice that he is being given to this kid.
right. Yeah, it was not great advice at all, especially making it as public as it was. Like it was not a great move, and I think it really hurt his. It's going to hurt his career moving forward.
Correct.
So next thing on the docket, how do we feel about the rankings of the recruitment class for 26?
For for who?
Just like where we're sitting. I know Michigan just cracked the top 10. Notre Dame's
Okay, you're
been in
talking
the
about
top
overall.
10.
Okay, hold
I
on.
think
Let me
Texas
pull
is
it up.
pretty far up there. Yeah, throughout the NCAA. I know
Okay,
Michigan just
so
cracked the top 10. I think with the recruitment of Travis Johnson, I think that put us at like either like 9 or 7. I think.
hold on. So I'm pulling up 247s here. I'll have to also try to pull up on threes here in just a second. Although I don't know if theirs is on there. They might not be updated since they're merged with rivals. So these are the
Right.
top 10 currently on 247. USC with 31 commits sits in first place. Okay, Georgia with
Yeah.
27 sits in second. Michigan only has 20 commits. So like yeah, USC, Georgia are 5 or 6 and 7 spot or 5 and 6 spots ahead of us, but they also have 7 to 11 more commits than we. Now I don't think we're taking that big of a class. I think if I had to guess, we'll take 25 to 27 total. So there is room to move up here.
Yeah.
It just depends on who all we go after and if there's any late season flips. Now I do expect some of the players that committed to USC to flip later in the season. They do every year.
Yeah.
Um,
I could see that.
maybe one or two of the guys at Georgia might flip. Notre Dame will probably have one or two that flip. Um, not
I mean,
I haven't really looked into Bama's class that much, but they only have 19 commits. So, but yeah, so
yeah. I
we're
mean,
currently at 7. But you can see the rankings here. Clemson rounding
yeah.
out at number 10.
Yeah, I think Alabama's been just recruiting some like top talent for like their normal class, but Notre Dame I know has been starting on their journey of flipping players lately. I think they got like a couple flips this week. I think they have a couple more coming down the pipeline that they're looking at flipping. I kind of hope that we can like just because of the guy that we have in the Maze Madman Discord. I want to see Michigan flip a Notre Dame player. I don't care which one. I just want to see us flip a Notre Dame player, just so that way he will be quiet for a day. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what this class is going to look like after everything's said and done. I think we're going to end up with looking really good come the end of the recruitment cycle for 26. I wouldn't be surprised if we did end up cracking the top 5 by the end of it. Did I lose? I did lose somebody. Oh, I lost my co-host. I lost my co-host. Give us a moment. We'll have him back in a moment. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing where our class ends up. I think we're doing good things on recruitment. I'd like to see us do a little bit better, crack the top five. I think that would be a fantastic thing to have happen, especially given where we've been sitting lately. I mean, we did recently crack top 10. Give me one moment. I'm going to try to see if I can get him back in. Um, come over here. That in there. See if that can get him back in. All right. But yeah, I mean, we've been making some moves. Michigan's been making some moves. Uh, Definitely. Alabama has been making some moves. We've been having a lot of 5 stars going around this last week. That's been pretty interesting development. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to definitely keep your eyes on Michigan moving forward. You're going to see us start rising in the rankings. We'll think with the loss of my co-host, I think what we're going to do is we're going to get on out of here. Maybe let's see. Oh no, he's back. Never mind. We're
Yeah,
good.
I don't know what just happened. StreamYard, it's like it reset to default settings, and I had to reconnect everything and readjust everything for my mic and camera. It was trying to pull from the wrong sources, and when it cut out mic and camera, it kicked me off of the broadcast.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you're back because without having someone
Yeah,
to
no
bounce stuff
sweat.
off of, I didn't know what I was doing here.
Yeah,
It would
my
be a lot.
fault.
It would have been a lot easier if I was home and be able to use my computer to pull up information. But I'm glad you're back.
Yeah, no, I
That way,
looked down, I looked away from the screen for a minute. I looked back, and I wasn't on the screen, and it was like, oh, StreamYard can't connect to your devices now, so log out and log in. And so I did that, and then it was like, hey, you might need to restart your computer because we can't see you or hear you. And so then I was like, well, what's going on? So then I remembered what you showed me. I went
right.
in to check the settings, and sure enough, it's like StreamYard settings had reset to default and was trying to go through my camera and instead of NVIDIA broadcast, and then it was trying to go through my headset for the mic instead of my actual microphone that's on my desk.
Well, that does not work out for what we're doing here.
Right. So
But yeah, so what are your thoughts on the recruiting rankings? You think there's room for the teams to shuffle around? You think Michigan crack the top five?
I think it's definitely possible that we crack top five because like right now, so let's see. So right now we are 15 points total behind Ohio State with one fewer commit. Still on our board, we've got guys like Savion Hyder. Savion Hyder puts us in top five
Oh,
if we
for
get
sure,
him.
yeah.
Um,
Without a second thought, without a question.
yeah, so if we get Savion Hyder, and right now it's really down to us in Tennessee from everything I've heard. He
Yeah.
puts us in top five. We're still in it for Salisi Moa, the athlete 6'2", 190 out of Utah. We're still in it for Davon Benjamin, the 6 foot safety out of California. I think if we get two of those three guys, let alone all three, I think we're a top four class. Um, but it's hard to really say beyond that because so much is going to change. Like between now and National Signing Day, like like I said, there's going to be flips. There's going to be late season flips. There's going to be late season targets, um, and so it's really hard to project right now. But
Right.
to your specific question on can I see us getting in the top five? Yes, absolutely. I do think we will move into top five at some point. Whether we finish in top five and how high, I don't know. I do know that one of our linebacker targets, Braden Rouse, just came off the board and committed to Tennessee. But I know that we're still going after Deuce Geralds. We're still going after Nick Abrams.
Right.
Um, we're still going after, I believe, Anthony Davis, DQ Forkpaw, Jaquaden Guilford, another wide receiver, just recently put us in his top teams. There's a linebacker out of that's currently committed to, I think, Liberty that we've talked to. And there's other guys that I know that are committed elsewhere, but Michigan has still got an open line of communication with.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I personally think it's entirely possible that we do crack top five. I think that if we can crack top five, that'll give us another point of another avenue of bragging rights over Ohio State, other than just like we beat them 13-10 last season.
yeah.
But like if we can crack that top five, I think that'll go a long way to seeing us and basically announcing to the NCAA that Michigan's back in it. We're no longer no longer struggling with recruitment like we kind of were during the Harbaugh era. I mean, we were doing all right during the Harbaugh era, but I think we could have been doing better if we had this NIL with Harbaugh. I think if we
So
had Harbaugh and the NIL, we would have been like sitting real nice right now.
so the problem with Harbaugh, and I love Harbaugh to death. The problem with Harbaugh is that the part that was his fault was simply that the style of offense he ran was a very outdated style. Now, it was still enough for us to win a national championship under him, and he had a pretty good record at Michigan. But
Yeah,
it was hard to sometimes recruit top end wide receivers, top end offensive talent because of the style that we played. Now, that's but that's just what comes with the territory. That was offset a lot of times by the fact that he was a high profile coach, that he was an NFL winning coach. He played at Michigan. He was a quarterback himself. So some of that could get offset by Jim Harbaugh as well. What really hurt Jim Harbaugh towards the end of his run as Michigan coach was that he didn't have. So, contrary to what our rival teams' fans want to say, Michigan doesn't cheat. They go out of their way to their own detriment not to cheat.
right,
I lived in Tennessee for damn near 20 years. It was an unspoken, common knowledge item that the SEC teams paid their players. Ohio State was trying to compete with the SEC, and they did that as well. There are numerous, I mean, literally dozens, if not more, of former Ohio State players, as well as SEC players, who have um, openly talked about how much money they made in college, getting paid by the schools before when it was still extremely against the rules to pay players in any way, shape, or form before NIL. Michigan would not pay players. Like they absolutely would not. And that was, we were still able to compete for the most part when it was completely illegal. When the NIL era started, NIL was originally supposed to be sponsorship deals. It wasn't supposed to be, we're going to pay you to come play for us. It was supposed to be, you're an athlete, you're a college player, you can go out and get a sponsorship from the local car dealership or a Gillette razors sponsorship or a Nike shoes sponsorship, the same way that a pro athlete could. That's what NIL was
Right.
supposed to be. Now, just like in pro sports, generally, if you play in a large market city like New York or like Detroit or Miami or a place like that, you're going
LA.
to have a higher profile, which can generally drive up the demand for you in the sense of sponsorship deals.
Right.
So there was the idea that the bigger schools would provide kids with bigger sponsorships, but it was never supposed to be a pay for play. In fact, it was still, up until a little more than a year ago, it was still on the books that you could not induce players to commit to your school with monetary inducement. You could not do it. However, the NCAA was getting their asses whooped in court over and over and over again, one loss after the other, when it came to NIL. So a lot of schools just said, we're going to do what we want to do. You can punish us if you want to. You come after us if you want to. We'll take you to court. And so schools like that were already paying players just started openly paying players. Then you saw schools like Texas A&M and Miami come out of the woodwork, paying astronomical amounts of money to players, all under the guise of NIL. Now, it was going through local, what they called NIL collective groups that were the ones
Right.
that were officially paying the players, but the schools were paying the players. And they were committing money to the players through the NIL collectives that had nothing to do with sponsorships. They were just under the guise of sponsorships. Michigan wouldn't do that. Michigan's, up until this last cycle, 95%. This is an estimate on my own estimate.
Yeah.
95% of Michigan's NIL budget, which wasn't huge, went to keeping players that were already on the roster and getting them to return. Because that technically, while it wasn't fully expressed legal, it also wasn't inducement to commit to the school, which is what was the letter of the rule that was still
Right.
in effect. Other schools would. So that's where we struggle. And I think especially so in the NIL era, before last summer, Jim Harbaugh just would not go after top 50 targets or sometimes even top 100 targets, because those kids wanted to talk NIL out of the gate. And he couldn't, because he didn't have the school's backing to talk money, because they wouldn't do it. So he just wouldn't talk to him. And that's what happened with Bryce Underwood. Jim Harbaugh had a generational prospect that lived 20 minutes from campus. But being the top quarterback and the top overall prospect in the class, Jim Harbaugh didn't even try, because he knew that as soon as NIL came up, he couldn't talk it. He couldn't offer the kid money. And that's why Bryce felt disrespected by Michigan, because they didn't go after him. That's what led to the comments he made on the Crane and Company show last summer.
Right.
I think it was last summer. It might have been last spring. I don't know. Anyway, no, it was the summer before that, when he committed to LSU.
Yeah, it was 2024.
So
Or 2023.
So I don't remember the timeline. Either way, it was after he was committed to LSU. He was on Crane and Company, and I think his name is David Cohn. Used to play at Michigan. He's a host on that show, and he asked him, and he's had that thing he said a little more than a year ago. You can clearly follow a parallel in the timeline that a little more than a year ago, I think it was like end of May, early June, when that rule in the NCAA rule book of not being able to induce and pay players to come to your school was overturned by the courts.
Yeah.
And almost immediately, Michigan's NIL woke up.
Yeah, and
Michigan
almost
started being
immediately,
able to pay players.
and almost immediately, like after that, Bryce flipped his commitment to Michigan, because
It wasn't immediately.
I
He
said
didn't flip his
almost.
commitment until November. But
yeah, I said almost.
what did happen with the
It was
Bryce
pretty
Underwood
soon
commitment
after.
specifically was that when Sharon Moore was named head coach in February, put his staff together in March and April. got through the winter portal, figuring out where he was going with the 2020 4 class or 25 class.
Yeah.
Um, and he reopened communication with Bryce Underwood before that rule was overturned. But he started working on reestablishing that relationship with Bryce's family. Now,
Yeah.
this was all kept quiet for the most part because Bryce wanted to be respectful, even though he was listening to Michigan. He wanted to be respectful to LSU, who he was committed to at the time. He didn't want it to be a public, I'm committed to LSU, but I'm still taking visits and offers and listening to from other schools. He was
Yeah.
only listening to Michigan. He was committed to LSU. He was only listening to Michigan, who was a 20-minute drive away. And he, at the time, wasn't sure he wanted to flip, but he wanted to at least listen because, contrary to what people want to say, he grew up a Michigan fan. Two things
Yeah.
can be true at once. He grew up as a Michigan fan, and he also fell in love with the 2019 LSU Tigers, which had Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and all those high flying, high,
High profile.
profile, high powered offensive players for the 2019 LSU Tigers that won the national championship. He liked both teams, and he wanted to be respectful. And then
Yeah.
the NIL rule got overturned, and Michigan could talk NIL. And then Dave Portnoy of Barstool, who's a Michigan fan, I think a Michigan alum,
Yeah.
in September, I think, end of September, maybe early October, publicly said, I'll put in money towards NIL. And, college donors, especially ones at big campus schools like Michigan,
And the
are
Brady
very much
Foundation.
a they want to be seen with high status, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times things like changing minds about donating for NIL, big ticket things like that, there has to be the first person that does it before the rest of them will do it. Dave Portnoy said it, and immediately a lot of the other high profile donors were like, well, if he's doing it, I got to do it too. Q Jolyn Ellison, who was a Michigan alum, who went to school at Michigan, who watched the struggles of the Brady Hoke years when Brady Hoke was our coach before Jim Harbaugh, and who got Larry Ellison to commit a huge number of money to come on board to try to flip Bryce Underwood. That was what kicked off Michigan's NIL, but it was the rival fans want to act like Bryce never liked Michigan, didn't want to come to Michigan, only came for the money. Money was going to be a part of his recruitment no matter where he went. It was part of it with LSU. It's part of it with Michigan. But he also grew up a Michigan fan. There's a reason that he listened to Michigan and allowed that relationship to be reestablished when he wouldn't listen to any other team while committed to LSU. That's what happened. This is not a rant, fucker. This is
All right.
explanation.
Yeah, I know. All right, so let's get into our final thoughts here. So of the teams that had big high profile recruits that went off over this Fourth of July week, which team do you think had the best week in recruiting?
I can't say which team had the best couple weeks. Michigan had a monster 2 or 3 week run.
Yeah,
Uh,
I agree. I'd agree
Notre
with
Dame
that.
also had a really good month. Alabama also had a monster last like week and a half, 2 weeks.
Yeah,
So I would say those three teams are in the top three. Put them in whatever order you like. Um, but those three teams, I think, are on a different level over the last month on recruiting than any other team.
I have to say, like, I have to go with my home team of Michigan, and the reason why I say this is because of how much they jumped in the rankings since the start of June to the Fourth of July weekend. Like, they started June pretty low in the rankings, and then by the start of July 4th, we're now in top 10. Like, we started way below top 10, and now Michigan's in the top 10. I think is a that's an amazing feat to be able to jump that many rankings in such a relatively short time. But I mean that's my pick for the team that won the week. I think I'm gonna have to put it on Michigan as being the winner of the of this week's of last week's recruiting cycle. I mean I'd even say like the month's recruiting cycle with how much they jumped up. If you had to pick one of the commits in this cycle, uh, out of everyone who's committed so far in the 2025 cycle, who would you say is your favorite commit for 2025?
My favorite commit for Michigan or for just in general?
Just in general.
Let's see.
I mean, mine's probably going to be for Michigan just because that's who I know best. But
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to separate my favorite from Michigan. Um, I mean, I think Savion Hyder is probably my favorite prospect, and I think he's going to come to Michigan. But as far as like favorite commit personally, this isn't saying the best. This is my favorite.
yeah. We're not saying like like who you think the best commit is. Just looking for
For
who your
me,
favorite commit is.
for me, again, for favorite, I have to go with Michigan, and I would say I've got two on defense. It's defensive lineman Alistair Vallejo. I just think he plays the way he plays the game is just incredible to watch. He really does look like Mason Graham 2.0 on the field. Offensive, I'm going to say our receiver commit, Jalen Pyle. He's just a completely likable kid. He's everything you hear the term Michigan man. He is 100% Michigan man. He's fully bought into the culture. And to be honest, he's had such a hand in some of the commitments that we've gotten over the last month, just recruiting other players for the class. I feel like 247 should put his name under like credits for the recruitment like they do some of the coaches.
Right.
Jalen Pyle is such a unique kid. He's such a well spoken and good mannered kid. I can't speak highly enough about him. He's definitely one of my favorite commits of this season.
I couldn't have said it better myself. The two guys that I had in mind, you picked both of them, Jalen Pyle and Alistair. Like those two players, I think are going to be huge difference makers moving forward into the 2026 season. I think those two are going to be just phenomenal players when it comes to the Michigan team, and those two are who I would pick as as my favorite commits that we've gotten so far. But moving forward, I think we got to start looking at getting out of here. So I want to make sure to let everyone know once again to check out the link in the description for Kinetik's GoFundMe. If you have some spare change and can donate it, feel free. If you have any questions about what he's going through, feel free to reach out. And also make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with your on your socials. And if you have any favorite players that committed this recruiting cycle, make sure to drop it in the comments. We'd love to know, and we might talk about them moving forward into future episodes.
Sorry,
Kinetic, you got?
sorry, you cut out for me a little bit. Can you say the last part one more time?
Oh, okay. Uh, which part did you?
I didn't hear the part where you were throwing to me to respond. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was just saying. Kinetic, do you have anything to add for before we get out of here?
Yeah, just again, I appreciate anyone that watches the videos, comments, anyone that takes the time to even look at or consider donating to the GoFundMe. I appreciate you so much. Also, uh, you can catch me on all social media if you want to reach out to me at Kinetik615 on all social media platforms. If I'm on there, you can find me on there at that handle. You can also see my video game streams on Kinetik615 Plays on YouTube, Kinetik615 on Twitch, and then also Monday nights and during the season, Saturdays for post game. You can find me over on the Maze Madman channel on YouTube.
And then for me, you can find me at Lichemax626 on both on YouTube and on Twitch and on X, formerly Twitter. And then you can also find me during the Michigan football season over on the Maze Mad channel, talking facts and stats over there. You can also, if you listen to Spotify, you can also find the Gamers Sideline. We are now on Spotify. We got 3 episodes up with more coming in the future as we record them here on YouTube. You can catch us live here. We try to do at least one video a week, but we're gonna see how it plays out moving forward. But expect at least one video a week, usually on Saturdays. That's going to be our main upload time. But you can find us on Spotify after the show. If you happen to miss it on YouTube, you can either watch it back on YouTube or listen to it on Spotify while you're working out or doing whatever throughout the day. And I don't think there's anything else to add unless you got something more, Kinetik.
I'm just gonna say, until next time, as always, go blue.
Yep, go blue.
From joystick dreams to Friday night lights, it's controllers and cleats under podcast mics with Lichemax dropping deep like he's throwing a bomb, and Kinetik calling audible, staying calm in the storm. From the field to the sticks, yeah, we bring the heat. With Kinetik and Lichemax, never miss a beat. When the final whistle blows or the credits roll, we're signing off strong, that's our gamers take control. Catch us on the sideline, where legends chill, where the playbooks flip and the passion's real. If you heard the takes, then you know the drill. Till next time, fam, keep it clutch, keep it skill. From the field to the sticks, yeah, we bring the heat. With Kinetik and Lichemax, never miss a beat. When the headset's off and the lights go low, we'll be back next game, y'all already know. We out.